The decision to have surgery is not one that many people in this country, or really anywhere in the world, take very lightly. But in some instances, say for example if you need a hip or a knee replacement, that decision comes pretty easily when compared to the option of living with a lifetime of pain. But some of these devices that do get implanted in people, hip replacements, knee replacements, and everything in between, can become defective as the patient proceeds with basically normal movement, normal lifestyle changes. And right now I have attorney Daniel Nye here with me. Daniel has handled some litigation against some of the biggest medical device implant manufacturers in this country. And Daniel, one of the newest, I guess, product defects that we're seeing today is with this product called Attune Knee. What exactly is this implant? What does it do? What is it for? What kind of people might have this implanted?
Sure. So the Attune Knee, it's commonly used during a total knee replacement. There are upwards to hundreds of thousands of these knee implants that have been used between 2011 and today.
Wow.
So it's commonly used. If you had a knee replacement in the last 6 or 7 years, you probably have somewhere between a 10 to 30% chance of having this knee replacement inside of you.
Okay, so this is when, like you said, total knee replacement, everything they come in, and it's all, you know, a metal joint, essentially. That's right. So anytime you're putting any kind of metal in your body, as we've seen from other lawsuits, hips, knees, and like I said, everything in between, it's gonna come with a little bit of risk, but the risk with the Attune Knee is actually slightly different from some of the cases we've seen in the past. What's happening with this particular implant?
Yeah, what we're seeing with this implant, it's actually called tibial debonding. And what that means is the tibial base plate of the implant, there's two main parts of a knee replacement implant. The tibial base plate, the cement that you would apply to the underside of the tibial base plate, and it's supposed to be able to put that base plate into the tibia and cement in to where the bone sticks to the tibial base plate. What's happening here is the cement is not bonding to the tibial base plate. So without cement bonding to the tibia, you've basically got this loose part just flapping all around inside of there. You won't notice it for maybe the first year or so, but in time, as you move on that knee more and more, there's gonna be problems with it.
Right, and you know, as I said in the intro here, these devices, just through the normal wear and tear of life, walking around, doing normal things, sitting down, standing up, they're supposed to last, in many cases, decades. Right. You know, 15, 20 years before it needs to be replaced. But a lot of these, and especially with the Attune Knee, I believe that one is about a 15-ish year implant. We're talking about 1.5 to 2 years after implantation, it has come unglued from the bone.
That's right.
And that leads to these horrible surgeries to correct the problem, which oftentimes are more intense than the initial replacement surgery.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. Everything you said. I mean, you would expect your knee implant to last you 15, 20 years. Some people, really conservative estimates, 10 to 12. But a lot of these clients that I represent aren't getting anywhere near this amount of time. You know, we're commonly seeing that on the early side, they'll fail in 1.5 to 2 years. Sometimes it takes 5 years to fail, but that's still nowhere near as long as that person should have had. And then it requires them to have an early revision surgery, which is a difficult surgery. They got to go back under the knife. That revision surgery is more difficult than the initial surgery. The recovery time is oftentimes 20 to 50% longer than what it was for the initial surgery. And then the other problem is now they've accelerated their time of needing revision surgeries in the future too.
And you know what's really awful about this is when these people have to go in, just even for the first surgery to get the replacement, you're essentially putting your body, your life out of commission for months. It's a very long recovery. And then when you finally get back active, you can have a normal life again. Then you find out, you know, a year later, it's gone bad. You have to get it fixed. Then you're once again looking at months and months of recovery, surgery costs and expenses. You know, these people are sacrificing a lot of their lives. They may not, you know, if they just took a couple months off to have the surgery done in the first place 2 years ago, their employer may not be willing to say, I can't give you another 3 months on this. I'm sorry. We're going to have to let you go. There are all kinds of costs and just kind of, trials that these people have to go through just because this company perhaps, I guess, didn't do their due diligence in creating this product or letting people know about the problems. And it creates a world of pain, emotional, physical, financial, for anyone who has to go through this.
That's right. I mean, those are all the problems we're seeing. I mean, we see it day to day with clients that tell us about the real life struggles that they're having that you just explained. And when we get into the documents from the company, we oftentimes find out that they knew about these issues and that they were trying to cover it up. So we're early on in this project, but we've seen this time and time again with these big manufacturers of medical device companies, and we usually see they knew and they failed to warn anybody because they wanted to protect their profits.
And one thing you and I have actually talked about this in the past is that with medical devices, the approval process is a lot different than if you have a new pharmaceutical or even a similar pharmaceutical. What's it like with medical devices? How do they do that?
Well, with medical devices, there are two ways you can get approval. Okay, there's about 5% of the devices out there that get approval through what a lot of people would think of the approval process from the FDA. We call it pre-market approval. And that's where you bring your clinical trials to the FDA. You show that you've done many different clinical trials to test this product, both short-term benefits and long-term results. And then the FDA takes a long look at it and gives it a pre-market approval. But then that's only 5% are getting through that way. But then we have what we call the 510K process, which is where 95% of the products get on the market, and is the way that the DePuy Attune Knee was approved, where you show enough to say that this product is substantially similar to another product on the market, and you get your rubber stamp.
So basically, hey, here's our new knee, but it looks a lot like theirs, acts a lot like theirs, similar components. Can you go ahead and approve this? I've got a surgery scheduled for 2 o'clock this afternoon. Maybe not that intense, but basically that's what it is. And this is the way the system is designed. The FDA helps set this up. I'm sure, obviously, a lot of the millions that are spent each year by the pharmaceutical markets help to kind of get that rule in place. But that's the kind of system we're looking at here. It seems that at almost every level, it is rigged against consumers. It's rigged against patients because the FDA wants to give these medical device companies and pharmaceutical companies what they want. The companies want to get out there, start selling these products, get them in as many people as possible. And every time, it's that consumer that bears all the risk and suffers the most from any negligence that may happen at any step of the way, whether it's the company or the FDA. The consumer is the one that always takes that hit.
Yeah, that's right. And I would say even further along what we were saying before, Big Pharma gets so many protections with the FDA process, but the medical device companies get even more. That's why recently we've been seeing a trend of more medical device problems than possibly even the pharmaceutical problems, because they are just getting these rubber stamps and they're getting onto the market.
Well, Daniel, it's great to know that we have people like you out there working every day. I know you got a long road ahead of you with this Attune Knee product, but we appreciate your work. Keep at it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.